Hello and welcome to ChIPs LinkedIn Live. We started this as a way to showcase some of the amazing work from the ChIPs community to advance women in tech law and policy. And I'm so glad to have Elaine Spector join us today. Welcome, Elaine.
Thank you for having me, Monica.
Elaine is a partner at Harrity Harrity LLP, and she developed and runs a program called Patent Pathways to increase diversity in the patent bar. And when I first heard about this program, I just thought it was spectacular. The work you're doing is so impressive, and I love it all so much. So I'd love to just jump right in, Elaine, and tell us why you started Patent Pathways and some of the key statistics that really stand out for you in this space.
So absolutely. So I think all of us know in the legal profession that it's one of the least diverse professions in the United States. And when it comes to patent law, which requires a STEM background in hard engineering or hard science, that number shrinks even more. And we've seen some studies with regard to diversity in the field, generally from some of the other organizations. We wanted to develop more granular data with regard to diversity of the patent bar. And also, initially, we were thinking about technology areas. So my background's in mechanical engineering. And anecdotally, all of my friends in this field that are women are in the biotech space. So we wanted to flesh out the data with regard to technology areas. And not surprisingly, we found that 11% of the patent bar registered to practice with my technology background is only 11% women. So that's pretty scary. When we look at the biotech space, we're up to 40%. Then we decided to look at racial diversity and then the intersectionality with women. And we found that there are only 2.2% of registered patent attorneys that are racially diverse women. And in fact, we found out there are more registered practitioners named Michael than there are racially diverse women. And so with that stat in mind, we thought, gosh, we have to do something different. A lot of people talk about pipeline problem, and they say, oh, it's not a pipeline, we've got plenty of people. But actually, we have both of the issues, and the pipeline issue is an issue here.
It's just, I just want to pause on the statistics because it's so disappointing. I studied physics in 1991, and I was one of 2 women in physics at my university that year. And then in the 2000s, the numbers went down.
Yeah.
I'm thinking down from 2. It's pretty disappointing, and it's not for lack of talent. It's for lack of access and opportunities. Certainly when I was doing that, I didn't see myself getting a PhD and moving on. I didn't know about the patent bar. I didn't even know about these opportunities. So I think the work you're doing is so incredibly powerful because there is this whole new pathway, so named so properly, this pathway that you are creating that allows women to see themselves in a career that can really leverage that science technology background and something more. Mm-hmm. Instead of being just one or the other, there's this whole new opportunity that opens up.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. Like you, when I entered the mechanical engineering program at University of Maryland, in a huge lecture hall, hundreds of students, there were 3 women. And I kind of looked around like, oh my gosh. But I was one of the lucky ones that heard about patent law when I was in high school because I loved the law. I wanted to be a lawyer. And it was a way to integrate kind of my what I was really good at, which was math and physics and science with law. So I was lucky enough to hear about it. It's funny. I went to back to school night for my daughter, and I was so happy to hear her chemistry teacher talk about professions in chemistry. And she mentioned patent law. I'm like, oh gosh, it's all girls school. And I thought, oh gosh, I'm so excited because that's not what most of us hear about. We don't hear about patent law as an option. And so, take that with what the overall societal influence for women to focus on our appearances rather than technology. And so that whole area has to shift as well. So, going back to the statistic of 2.2% of racially diverse women, we actually wanted to change the numbers with respect to diversity at the patent bar for the least represented group. And we wanted to actually make an impact. We don't want to just help one person here, help one person there, which is great. We still do that. But we wanted to actually see a shift at the patent bar. And as you may know, there's about 50,000 registered practitioners with only about 1,000, a little over 1,000 racially diverse women. So our program is about offering a free patent law review course, which, can be expensive, paying for the fees to sit for the patent bar, and then providing training for a year through our already established Harrity Academy program, as well as specific patent pathways training. Each of our participants, we've got 20 women in this program. We've got sponsors who have paid for them. PLI is a sponsor, and they have gathered together and they are studying together to sit for the patent bar. But another piece of the puzzle, which we found kind of midway through as we're planning this program, is that it doesn't do us much good to have these women registered to practice with the patent office and then not have experience and not be included in our profession. And so we started reaching out to law firms to say, hey, would you be interested in hiring one of our candidates once that they pass the patent bar? And so exciting that we have 20 law firms that said, yes, we will absolutely interview and hire one of the participants and our ask was like, at least for 1 year. You need that 1 year under your belt. You need some reps, you need some experience. And we purposely chose firms that had a good record with respect to diversity. So that part's happening now. We launched the program in June. The matching part is happening now. The interviewing is happening now. The law firms have reached back out to me to say how happy they are with the candidates, how qualified they are. It's so great to hear that. And the participants are coming back saying, thank you so much for doing this program. It is so impactful. They're getting skills trainings for interviews, how to dress at a law firm, the culture shift from, coming right out of maybe undergraduate into the law profession. They're getting so much training on so many different levels. And they have mentors. They have mentors from a law firm and mentors from an in-house lawyer as well. So they're building their network, which is super important for them to advance in their career. So we are super excited about this program and for the support that we've gotten from so many law firms and corporations for this program.
That is spectacular. I just want to applaud you. That is so fantastic to think that there are only about 1,000 women of color in the patent bar, and you have 20 in your program right now. So,
Monica, actually, it's racially diverse women.
Oh, racially diverse women.
But then it even narrows further. And we don't have that statistic specifically, but we know that it's going to be less than over 1,000. It's probably, 400 or 500. So again, if you're adding 20 each year, you're statistically making a big difference.
Huge.
And because we're getting a lot of support from our industry, from our field, our goal next year is to increase and scale it to 50 women.
Wow.
Let's just go to the future. And there's a lot of other things we're doing behind the scenes as far as tracking this and then, getting better statistics. And we're forming some partnerships to collect that data in a better way, in a more comprehensive way, and then tracking to see, okay, now who's the least represented group? Okay, Black women aren't going to be the least represented group when we're done with this. There's going to be another group, and then we're going to focus on them.
And that's fantastic.
Move it, as we iterate along. And the ultimate goal is that the demographic of a patent bar will represent the demographics of our country.
Right.
And then affects the economics, the ecosystem, as far as underrepresented communities getting access to patent attorneys, hopefully mentors and funding and everything else that comes along with it from people they trust and know and feel comfortable with. That's super important.
Well, I like to think of innovation as what we're building for the future.
100%.
And who should be building the future other than the people who want to be living in the future and innovating for all of society, not just some of society. And I love that Kathy Vidal is the director of the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, because she's all about diversity and inclusion and finding people who aren't yet showing up, who aren't filing patents, making it accessible. And I think this Pathways program that you've created is another step in that process. Can you tell us a little bit about how you found the applicants, how you recruited applicants to the program, and then also what are well, I'll start there and then I'll ask my next question. How did you get people to come join you?
Yeah, that's a great question. In fact, a lot of the law firms who are looking for diverse candidates would ask us the same questions. How did we find these candidates, and really these amazing candidates? And so, there are some job boards on the undergraduate schools that you can post with regard to recruiting. Whatever, for our Harrity Academy, we've done that with all the universities. And so we'll post about our free online courses for Harrity Academy. So we use that as kind of our first step. We've also reached out specifically to historically Black colleges and universities. We've also talked to the Thurgood Marshall College Fund and have talked to them about including our information in different programs that they offer. Now it's going through word of mouth. I mean, through LinkedIn, and other participants are referring other women as well. We're talking individually to the historically Black colleges and university as well as collectively. So I think that was our biggest concern, is that we weren't going to find enough women that were going to that had the requisite technology degree to sit for the patent bar. But we got 20, and actually the number has increased to 22. So we're hopeful that scaling to 50 next year is not going to be a problem.
That's outstanding. And it sounds like you are doing all the right steps to find candidates and really make this outreach as wide, as broad as possible. Melissa Andrew, who's a ChIPs member, just joined on LinkedIn, and she shared that she didn't know about this option when she was growing up. And she's a lawyer and part of ChIPs. And so I think it's, we all come to this in different ways, and it's hard if you don't know it early enough. Can you tell us a little bit about the patent bar? Because one doesn't need to be a lawyer to join the patent bar. And then what is required to become a patent practitioner? And it sounds like you offer all of those requirements through the Patent Pathways program.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I didn't even know this when I was in law school, even though I wanted to pursue patent law, but you need an undergraduate degree. And we're up to 36 approved degrees that automatically allow you to sit for the patent bar. So they could be a lot of, most of the engineering fields, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, computer science, biology, chemistry. There's a list. They're called Category A degrees. And so if you're interested, you have a science background, you want to see if your degree is included, you can search it, United States Patent and Trademark Office, Category A degrees, and you'll probably hit the link, and you can check to see if your degree is listed there. You can also get in through other degrees if you have a certain amount of hard sciences and chemistry and physics, and that takes a little more effort. But again, that's another way to become a member of the patent bar. So we do have that covered with regard to our undergraduates. It's just an undergraduate degree that you need. You don't need to go to law school to practice patent law. And what that allows you to do, once you sit and pass the patent bar, you're allowed to draft applications and communicate with the United States Patent and Trademark Office during examination of the patent. So that's called prosecution. And so you're allowed to draft application and prosecute patents. And a lot of practitioners in my space, patent attorneys, just do that. So we probably didn't even need to go to law school. Now, law school does allow you to become an associate and a partner. It also allows you to do opinion work, litigations. There's other aspects of patent law that patent agents cannot do. But the bread and butter of patent law, drafting applications and prosecuting them for your clients, is what you would be allowed to do with that registration number as a patent agent. And that's super important. And, some people might not want to do litigation or write opinions. Some people just may want to do this aspect of patent law. And they have an easy way when they graduate with an undergraduate degree to sit for the patent bar and move into this profession quickly.
Do you find that a lot of people who come into the patent bar then decide they want to go to law school?
So there are a lot that decide they want to get into other areas of patent law as a patent attorney. So a lot of the firms that we are partnering with for patent pathways offer programs to help finance law school for their patent agents. So if you're a patent agent at a firm, or you're an engineer and you're thinking about a career shift, consider that there are law firms out there that will pay for your law school. So maybe the first step is, once you pass a patent bar, getting that first job at a law firm, and then looking into the policies regarding, whether you want to go to law school, and they might be available. In fact, a lot of the firms offer that to me. They'd say, if they just have an undergraduate degree, we definitely have programs that we pay for law school. And I'm like, oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
That's how it should be, I think. If someone's going to show up and do the work, then provide them the education they need to advance in their career.
Absolutely. And they do, a lot of the firms that I spoke with that are part of this program do that. So that's wonderful.
I'm so glad to hear that. Oh, that is awesome. Yay.
Yay.
I love hearing these stories, because I think it's so important for others to know that people are doing this work that matters, that's helping to shift the narrative, to create the pathways, to increase access. And I'm so glad to hear it. It makes me so happy.
And then when you see the women and how grateful they are, I'm mentoring one of the participants, and we had a call this week, and she was just so gracious and thankful, and just thanked us. And I said, I'm almost embarrassed, because I'm like, no, we want to do this. This is so important. And you come off feeling so good about giving back and making a difference. And I really feel like this program is going to do that. And it's already doing that.
It is. It's so outstanding. I know Harrity is doing other work to increase diversity. Also, can you tell us more about what the firm is doing to increase diversity across the legal profession?
Absolutely. So I guess when I started with Harrity about 5 years ago, the diversity committee was pretty new. We were only 14 attorneys then, and I was joining because we focus only on electromechanical technology. I'm joining a firm with 14 men, and that's okay with me. I'm kind of used to it. You're probably used to being in a room full of men, and it was fine. But I knew that they were committed to diversity, and from the moment I stepped through that door, they gave me every resource to build the diversity committee. And John Harrity is my co-chair of the Harrity committee, was managing partner at the time. He's still the co-chair. He suffered a widowmaker heart attack, and his whole life changed, and he is all for giving back. And so we jumped right into it and started developing programs. Our first program was called the Women's Workshop, Patent Workshop, Harrity for Parity Women's Patent Workshop. And we have a 4-day workshop in May for women exclusively that helps them develop skill sets and teaches them about patent law in general, how to draft applications, how to prosecute them, just all the ins and outs of a career in patent law. And we have a number of speakers come in to tell them about different aspects of being a female patent attorney. We also had Molly Kuchowski from the United States Patent and Trademark Office, Rocky Mountain Regional Office, come and speak to us as well. So again, starting to build their networks and showing them how amazing a career in IP can be. So that was our first program. We then moved on to the Harrity Academy. And the Harrity Academy, in our profession, there's a steep learning curve with respect to drafting patent applications. And I can say, having been in-house and other firms, that Harrity's got this special sauce for writing applications. We have a uniform writing style. We are just crazy about high quality. And we wanted to give that to diverse candidates for free. We wanted to give that training for free, because many law firms don't have any kind of structured training. One person will teach you one way, one person will teach you another way. We wanted a uniform way to teach them. So we offer the Harrity Academy. I think we're in our 3rd year now, and that's free for anyone with an undergraduate degree, or actually, I think we even had a high school student the last time, because we're going to keep going lower and lower and lower. But the Harrity Academy, again, provides free online classes for those who want to develop a skill set with regard to patent application drafting and prosecution. after we launched that, again, we're looking at the statistics and we're seeing that in the legal profession, equity partner positions are lacking with regard to racially diverse attorneys as well as female attorneys. And so we thought, gosh, why don't we help already existing minority-owned firms and help give them the business training to take their law firms to the next level. And that's called the Minority Firm Incubator 2.0. And so we had 7 firms join us this year, while John and his brother Paul are teaching them a 42-week course about how to take their firm to the next level. So it's to how to hire superstars, everything from accounting to ethics to branding to everything you're thinking about as you're running your law firm. And we've gotten such tremendous feedback from these firms. We also, as we start the program, we want to give them the skills to pitch. And so we have a lot of corporate partners who sit on a pitch panel for our firms and listen to their pitch at the beginning of the program. And then once they've done the whole training, at the end of the program, after 42 weeks, there's another pitch session. So we've been fortunate to have a lot of in-house counsel who have agreed to sit on these pitch panels. And again, it's about relationship development and to say, hey, look, this is an amazing firm, and making those introductions. So it's not just serving the purpose to, hey, let's pitch and get some feedback, but it's, again, forming relationships, which are super important in our profession and for their firms.
This is so extraordinary to me, Elaine. I work really hard to live with abundance. And I find that most of my working career, there has been more scarcity. Mm-hmm. And it's a human factor, right? We think, oh, there's only enough for. And there are some really great stories about living with abundance. And I think that it's something that we do have to practice. And here is, you are a law firm and you're looking at what law firms can we help to lift up. And this is just absolutely extraordinary. I mean, I don't know of other law firms that do this. And wow, what an incredibly abundant mindset to have, and then to offer to others, and then to expand the network you have. It's this gift that you're giving yourselves by helping other firms lift themselves up, increase the economy, improve access, just all around outstanding.
Absolutely. And, it's really funny. I cannot take credit for the Minority Firm Incubator idea. This was all John Harrity. And when John first said this idea, I'm like, like you, like others, like, why are you doing this? Why are we doing this exactly? And he just saw the big picture in that of how, right. And he said, the patent field is abundant. There is so much work to be had. He feels comfortable with the firm that he's developed, that he feels like he is going to get, obviously, his business is going to do well no matter what. Why don't we focus on helping others and lifting others up through this program? So, I guess the pragmatic side sometimes will say, are we really doing this? Why are we doing all this? And then when you're saying, yes, of course we're doing this because we need to make a difference in our field. So I give all the credit to John to see that and want to give back in that way. And not being concerned about himself at all, really being concerned about moving the needle with respect to minority-owned firms and to underrepresented communities in general in the patent bar. So again, that has been a huge initiative, and another way that either law firms and in-house counsel can participate. Because there's also in-house counsel panels about, what we should do, what you shouldn't do, kind of like the inside scoop from the in-house counsel. And so that has been super helpful. And everyone who's taken that course, I actually taught one on branding and diversity. And this group of firms they're amazing. They're just amazing. They're like thirsty and wanting to learn, and also sharing the struggles that as an underrepresented minority-owned firm, they can't make mistakes. Mm-hmm. They don't get second chances. So it's a whole myth of meritocracy, and it's not they don't get second chances. So we talked about that a lot too during our discussions about what they have to endure as a minority owned firm, because, you know, people might have their view about, oh yeah, you know, that confirmation bias. Oh yeah, I knew you would make a mistake. You're looking for it. Mm-hmm. And so they have another layer of issues they have to deal with to succeed. And so we talked about that and talked about strategies to overcome, and, you know, just understanding the reality and helping the best that we can to give additional tools to help them succeed.
It's just extraordinary, and I love it so much. How can other law firms and corporations, specifically in-house counsel and other lawyers, get involved, either supporting the initiatives that you already have going on, or what is your advice for those who want to do more and maybe don't have this incredibly supportive, abundant mindset law firm to take action and get to do the work that actually matters and changes outcomes?
So I think there are a couple of ways. And one I think I've mentioned already is through our Patent Pathways program, is to just, the first step is, I mean, if you don't have a need to hire at this point, become a mentor. You know, become a mentor to one of the participants. All of our participants have a law firm mentor and an in-house counsel mentor. Again, a relationship that the law firm can build as well. Volunteer to be a mentor. That's a very easy way to give back. Another one is for a law firm to hire one of our participants for at least 1 year. Another program, and Monica, you all participated in this, is our think tank. And so we'll probably launch another think tank next year about how to increase diversity of underrepresented groups. And we had 3 law firms that joined that think tank, and we surrounded them by experts in the field, including top-level officials from the PTO. ChIPs was involved, MCCA, LCLD, different organizations that support underrepresented groups. And we help the firms brainstorm their own programs. And so that's another way to get involved. If you're interested in that and your firm's interested, please reach out to me. There's also, again, that minority firm incubator. If you're in-house patent counsel, there's an opportunity to sit on a pitch panel. There are opportunities to mentor. There's opportunities to sit on the actual in-house panel to give feedback about how they can improve their services, communication, et cetera. Any question they have, no holds bar. And I'm just kind of running through the rest of the things that we do. You know, and our Harrity for Parity Women's Workshop. If you're a female patent attorney and you want to speak at it, please come reach out to me. I'd love to have you speak as well. So there are just a number of ways that both in-house can get involved, as well as law firms. So we'd love to have you.
Well, so many ways to get involved. I hope that everyone listening will pick at least one and decide to just go for it, because that's what actually makes a difference at the end of the day. I have 3 questions left. I want to make them quick, but I don't know. We'll see how they go. What would be the best outcome you could imagine for Patent Pathways?
You know, that the patent field joins us, and that we have participation by a lot of the members of the patent field, and that the end result is that the demographics of the patent bar represent the demographics of our country. That's the ultimate goal.
I love that. You host a weekly vlog, Driving Diversity. Tell us what you're doing with the weekly vlog.
So the weekly vlog is just talking about a 2 to 3 minute vlog each week that talks about hot topics on diversity. And so I'll talk a lot about the patent bar diversity issues, but also in the legal profession, work-life balance. I'll talk to pay inequity. That's a big one that aggravates me. And I've got my equal pay shirt.
I'm with you on that, fully supportive of specifically being a working mom, having working moms get paid equally. Working moms make 58 cents on the dollar. And I think I've lost millions of dollars over my career.
Which is one of my vlogs too, like talking about how working moms, that disparity between working moms and women who don't have children. And that's really where a lot of the break happens. And it's just, there's so many topics that are worth bringing to the forefront to discuss. And, you know, I talk about recent studies that other, you know, Law 360 will just put out recent study on women in law and, breaking the glass ceiling. So I talked about that and just how hard it is sometimes for women to advance to the equity partner positions. So it's a lot of fun because these are topics I'm dealing with, and as a female in the legal profession, and I'm passionate about. It's important to me, and it's important to see that we pave the way for the younger generation, that they don't have to choose between their family and work, and that they can still advance. I mean, one thing that's great about my firm is that when I interviewed, I said, can I become partner and work reduced hours when I first started? They said, absolutely. Well, within 3 years, or maybe it was 2 years, I made partner. And then eventually I got to a full-time because I wanted to, but they allowed me to advance not based on the time commitment. I'm still committed to this firm. I work a 40-hour week, and I'm committed. You should be able to be partner and advance in your career even when you work a reduced hour schedule. So that's, again, another issue I love to talk about.
Where do people go to hear the Driving Diversity?
Well, we do a weekly vlog. I post it on LinkedIn. So please reach out to me, connect with me on LinkedIn. And it'll come up on your feed on Tuesday mornings.
Outstanding. And last question, how did you discover ChIPs?
So it's one of those things where I started hearing about ChIPs, and at first it was a smaller organization, and I was always interested to see what ChIPs was like. But it really wasn't until we started the think tank that I reached out to Joan, your executive director, and started developing a deeper relationship with ChIPs. And then I joined one of your online conferences, and I'm like, why did it take me so long? This is awesome. This is so different than sometimes some of the stuffier conferences you can go to. The music and the women, and it just was amazing.
We've both shared our experiences with being, the only or one of 2 or 3 women in a room. And it is just extraordinary because everyone I talk to says they walk into their first global summit surrounded by 600 women in tech, in IP, in policy, and it is extraordinary, really extraordinary.
It really is, because we're so used to being the only female, and then to come in to see so many that deal with the same things that we deal with. It's just such a great support network.
Yeah. So you can learn more about the work Elaine is doing at HarrityLLP.com, Patent Pathways. It's hyphenated. The link is here. And join us here. Next Thursday, we'll have another guest, and then we'll be moving to a bi-weekly program. Our Next Gen conference is coming up on October 26th in San Francisco. We have an incredible lineup. We have Dr. Aaliyah Crum from Stanford talking about stress mindset, which you've heard from Elaine, this mindset of creating a thriving culture, of living in abundance, makes us happier, makes us live better lives. And so this idea of overcoming stress through mindset is really important. And we have Wei Chen, General Counsel of Infoblox. We have Judge O'Malley, just an incredible lineup, several great panels. We have Carolyn Herzog from Elastic speaking on a panel of internal politics and those relationships between law firms and their in-house counsel. Mm-hmm. So such an incredible lineup. I hope you all check it out. Elaine, thank you. It's been extraordinary. I love what you are doing, and I just appreciate so much what Harrity and Harrity has created in the culture of a firm that allows all this to be possible.
It was my pleasure. And again, if you all want to reach out to me, I'm happy to, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to include you in at least one of our programs.
Thanks so much.